What's going on? My name's Ivan Castillo, and today I'm going to talk about the Canon G7 X Mark II. So the reason why I bought this camera is because I wanted a semi-professional camera with manual settings that I could take anywhere. Obviously it had to be small, and maybe even use it for vlogging every now and then. Something small that shot raw, that I could take to weddings and parties and on small trips. Basically anywhere I didn't want to take my big DSLR. But before we get into all that, I want to talk about what accessories I'm going to put on it before I even use it. I'll throw links to all of these in the description. I bought a lens cap kit that also is a filter adapter. I bought a UV filter. I bought a screen protector for the back screen, a strap, shorty tripod, extra batteries, and a step-up ring. I'm gonna go ahead and put all the accessories on the camera and let you see what it looks like. Alright, so let's talk about why exactly I put all this stuff on here. So let's start with the stuff that lives on the camera. The filter adapter and lens cap I got because I wanted the ability to put on a lens filter and also have a lens cap. Because even though this has one of those built-in little plastic open close lens caps, I have read that a lot of people experience motors failing and dirt and sand and stuff you don't want on your lens living on your lens, because those little lens caps are not that good. So I wanted something that was a little bit more beefy, a little bit more secure, and the ability to put on filters, because I also wanted to put on a UV filter, once again, to protect the lens. And moving on to the back, the screen protector, for the obvious reasons. This thing's gonna live in my pocket on my days off or whenever I decide to go to an event, party, whatever. So I need to protect the screen. I mean, if I break the screen, that kills the whole camera. I'm not able to use a lot of the functions because on the back of the camera there aren't that many controls. Not that many. It's a lot easier to use the touchscreen, so I need to protect it as much as I can. And obviously extra batteries, because you always need extra batteries. Now the stuff that I will take and not use all the time, the GoPro Shorty tripod. I bought this for my GoPro Hero 7 and love it. It's just the right size to keep in my pocket. Always a lot more convenient to be able to take off your grip or extension pull than to have it on the camera at all times, because that just makes it bigger and more annoying to deal with when you're not using it. And also, I feel like it's the perfect size for me and this camera and the GoPro. It gives me just enough reach with the full arm extension to get the top of my head to mid chest in frame, and maybe another person if I step to the side a little bit and give it just a little bit more reach. And then the wrist strap. I've been using a Wii Remote wrist strap on my big DSLR for the longest time, and I always am scared to use it because I feel that little dinky wrist strap is not gonna cut it. If I just happen to drop my camera, let go of it or whatever, that little wrist strap is not gonna work. Now obviously this is a little overkill for this camera. I could probably get away with the Wii Remote, but because I want to get rid of that strap, I wanted something that I can use on both cameras, and this has one of those quick detach clips, so I can just throw it on this camera whenever I'm using it, or I can take it off and put it on my big DSLR. And yeah, it gives me a lot of sense of security. Plus it was really cheap and it's pretty stout. You're not getting through this. You're probably gonna break your arm before you break this. Alright, now I want to get into why I picked this over, let's say, the Canon G7 X Mark III or the G5 X Mark II. The short answer, money. For the price, this was the best option for me. I wanted a point and shoot that could shoot RAW and do 1080 video at a minimum and have a flip up screen. All the extra goodies with 4K, mic input jacks, the pop-up viewfinder, that was all nice, but I didn't need that, and I definitely didn't want to pay almost double the price for all of that. This was the best option because it allowed me to bring a more advanced camera than, let's say, on my phone, because this has manual options and this has scene options, and it has a flip up screen with a lot more megapixels, so it's easier to take photos of myself and friends and have better photos. The focal range is good to keep in your pocket. I mean, it's not going to reach out and touch a bird that's across a football field and maybe not be able to get the entire Grand Canyon in one shot, but 24 to 100 is a good range just for everyday use. And the low light performance at the price, to me, made it very compelling. With a f1.8 to 2.8 aperture, it's gonna do very well in low light compared to, let's say, a GoPro or probably my phone. It's not gonna do better than my bigger DSLR, but for the size, it's gonna do really good in low light. And that's mainly what I wanted it for, is for parties and stuff, and nobody has parties in the middle of the day. It's usually close to sunset or at night where there isn't that much light, so you need any hope you can get. Let's get into what I wish I had on this. Now, I said that I didn't need a lot of the stuff that the G7 X Mark III and the G5 X Mark II offer, but it would have been great. A mic input jack would have been really nice, and a pop-up viewfinder would have been even better, because coming from shooting on a DSLR, being able to bring the camera up to my face and actually look at the photo just feels better to me. Even though I know it's the same thing with the back screen, it just makes me feel better. But like I said, I don't want to pay almost double the price for that, because this was $500, and a G5 X Mark II runs almost $1,000. After taxes is going to be close to $1,000, and I wouldn't have been able to get all these accessories that I have, plus the mic input jack, plus the pop-up viewfinder at that price. I would have had to spend at least $1,200 for all of that. There's also one more accessory that I got for it that I didn't mention because I'm not exactly sure how much I'm going to use it. So like I said, I have a bigger DSLR and I have lens filters for that camera that are 58mm, and the adapter that I bought for this camera is 49mm. So I also got a 49 to 58 step-up ring so I can use my other filters, but I'm not exactly sure I want to, because I have a variable ND and a circular polarizer, and I'm not sure I'm gonna use them ever, but I wanted to have that option at least. Because I know this camera has a built-in ND filter, but it's only one ND, and I think it's ND4. The very ND filter that I have goes from ND2 to like ND10. So it's a lot more versatile for everyday use, and it's a lot quicker than trying to turn on the ND filter. I know it has an auto function, but I don't necessarily want the camera dictating when my ND filter comes on. I'd rather put it on myself and switch it on the fly, looking at the back screen. And like I said, I have a lot of plans with this camera. I'm hoping that it's going to be my everyday workhorse, because it's not that often that I need to bust out my big camera. That's usually when I plan some type of shoot, or there's somewhere that I'm going to be that I'm comfortable bringing that much equipment, because everything is obviously bigger with that camera. The batteries are bigger, the camera itself are bigger, the lenses are bigger. I need to bring a whole backpack for that. With this, I could just throw this in my pocket, even though it's a little wide. That's why I have big pockets for. Well, that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, got something out of it, and I hope you look forward to seeing more content from me and all my experiences, and me documenting the learning process I'm going through for figuring out how to make these videos as the best I can, so that I can have something to show my kids in the future.